All right, this is Screencast number 2 on John Keats, La Belle Dame Sans Merci. I left off at stanza 10. Just a few more things here that I wanted to finish up before I close out this particular poem. I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors, death pale were they all. They cried, La Belle Dame Sans Merci, hath thee in thrall. So at this point, the knight begins to describe the pale kings and princes that he saw in his dream, that last dream that we were talking about at the end of the last screencast. And so pale leads us to believe that they were dead. So dead kings, dead princes, death pale were they all. Since we've already kind of been introduced to some supernatural in this poem with the fairy child of the dame. So it's not too far fetched to conclude that we may be looking at the other men that she has done this same thing to. A lot of critics say that maybe it's kind of a reference to Revelation, where you have the kings and the horsemen, the pale horse in the book of Revelation, which is the final book in the New Testament. So the pale horse and the rider in the Bible that symbolize death and bring destruction there. It continues to become more and more kind of nightmarish as it continues. All of these pale kings and princes cry out, La Belle Dame Sans Merci. And suddenly he kind of becomes aware of what's happening to him. They cry out, the beautiful woman without mercy hath thee in thrall. And he has been seduced by this woman who would show him no mercy. And not only that, he is one in a long line of men who have met the same fate. So he has come to ruin at the hands of this fairy woman. All right, he says, I saw their starved lips in the gloam with horrid warning gaped wide, and I awoke and found me here on the cold hillside. He wakes up and he comes to the full realization of like what has happened to him. Every man that the fairy has ever seduced has died. He saw them in his dream with their starved lips looking at him with horrid warning and their mouths open wide. But it's too late for him. He's already been seduced. And as a consequence, he now is fated to continue in this way until he is dead too. He finds himself on the cold hillside, and there is no fairy woman anywhere to be found. And so we can conclude that he is dying, or perhaps that he is dead as well, and that our speaker is able to see him there. He says, and this is why I sojourn here, alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing. And so he finally answers that question that the speaker asked, like, why are you wandering here aimlessly by the side of this area. It says, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? And so this is his response finally to the answer to that question, that because he has been seduced, he's now doomed to sojourn alone in his near-death state, or death state. Keats ends the poem with a line with which the first stanza ends. The sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing. And so we kind of grieve the knight here, or grieve for him, feel sympathy or empathy for him. He's dying alone. He has no one to comfort him in his last moments. Not even the birds are there to sing for him. No beauty in the landscape around him because it's wintertime, it's cold. And all because he fell victim to the beautiful fairy woman without mercy.